The Last of Us TV series has been in the works for a while now. Fans of the award-winning PlayStation title have been eagerly waiting for the show to make its appearance on TV ever since it was announced. And while that may still be a bit further away, we've got some fresh stuff from the set giving us a peek into what the show might look like. So sit back and keep watching as we tell you everything we've collected from the set and some updates for The Last of Us TV series. First up, what we've seen so far. While the airing of the commercially hit game is still a ways away, that doesn't mean that we're completely clueless about what's going on behind the scenes. New information from the set is rolling in almost constantly, making us and the fans speculate more and more about the upcoming show. In the most recent photos that we've seen of the set, we were given a look of a shoddy-looking ambulance on set, which is pretty fitting for the dystopian nature of the games and now the show. We got to see some more leaks on Twitter, where we saw a set with broken windows, half-destroyed stores, and some mottos sprayed over blocks. From what we can tell, it looks like the set has been designed to film the scene where Joel, Ellie, and Tess make their way through downtown after leaving the Boston QZ. But that's just our speculation. Ellie's wearing her red t-shirt. Y'all remember that beach sunset graphic t-shirt that we saw Ellie wearing in the games? Yeah, well, in some recent pictures from the set, we can see Bella Ramsey, the actor who's playing Ellie, wearing the same iconic t-shirt. Now, some of you might be thinking why a simple red t-shirt is that big of a deal for a character to wear. You might even have a point. But if you ask fans of the game how they remember the character, they'll always picture her in that iconic shirt. Why? Well, that's because most characters in the game don't wear those clothes. Much like the dark and gritty tone of the game, most of the cast also wears drab, dull colors, and in that context, Ellie's outfit doesn't just stand out. It also reflects the personality of a bright, joyful child that grew up in a world infected by the cordyceps brain infection. Next, the truck crashing into a laundromat. But there are still a lot of questions about how faithful HBO's adaptation is going to be to the games. But some of the most recent leaks have shown that they will try to do justice to the source material, and this leads us to talk about the truck crash scene. So do you guys remember that scene from the first game where Ellie and Joel are ambushed when they're in their truck, which leads Joel, who's driving, to crash the truck in a building, which then leads to a pretty epic fight scene breaking out? Yeah, well, from the photos, it seems like they're definitely filming that iconic scene, or some parts of it at least. The photos from the set didn't really show much. All we could see was that there was a laundromat with a giant hole in its wall, which all but confirms that we can expect to see this scene sometime in the show. Next, more leaks of characters on set. The majority of leaks that we've had have not been very good, to say the least. We've either gotten weird-looking, blurry photos or pictures taken of the backs of characters, so we couldn't really tell much about how things look. Well, not anymore. Back in March, we got some fresh photos from the set that gives us a pretty good look of Pedro, Pascal, and Bella Ramsey in their characters of Joel and Ellie. The photos were taken in Calgary, Canada, which, if you guys didn't already know, is the primary location where the production is taking place. In the leaks we saw, Ellie is in her winter outfit that we're all familiar with from the games, giving us even further confirmation that the show will stick close to the original games. But that's not all we saw in these leaks. This time, we even got a picture of two more characters on the set with Joel and Ellie. You guessed it right, it's Henry and Sam. If you haven't played the games, or if you've forgotten by now, Sam and Henry are two brothers who our main characters come across on their journey in the first game, and are with them at some pivotal points in the story. Now, Sam, as most of you know, is a supporting character in the game. Not much is known about his backstory, except that he's a 13-year-old boy and a survivor coming from Hartford, Connecticut, while Henry is his older brother, who very fittingly is pretty protective of his younger brother. Rumors have been floating around that the Canadian actor and dancer Lamar Johnson has been cast as the actor for Henry, but nothing has been confirmed yet. Sam's actor identity, however, is still anyone's guess. You can't really tell anything from the photos. What we can hope for is that casting details will come out soon, now that the fans have gotten a better look at the characters. Now, we have the timeline switch. Up until now, we've talked about how much the leaks have shown that the adaptation has remained faithful to the original TLOU games, but we knew that wasn't going to be the case for the actual show. From what little information that we've got from the showrunners, they did say that the show won't be a frame-by-frame adaptation of the games, but from what we've seen from some of the pictures on set, it seems like they've decided to make one pretty big change, and this is apparently a change in the timelines. In some set photos that came out in February, we found out that the year of the infection outbreak has been changed to 2003 instead of 2013. In the games, the cordyceps brain infection reached critical mass in the year 2013, and the outbreak began in Austin, Texas on September 26th. The story then jumps forward in time by 20 years to the year 2033, where we get to see Joel and Ellie trying to survive in the post-infection world. But like we said, that was the game, and the TV show has decided to move back the timeline on the outbreak by 10 years. So now, it seems like we'll see our protagonists continue their journey from the year 2023 as they navigate the zombie-infested lands of their world. Why they've decided to make this change? It could be because of some production or cost-related limitations, or maybe some other reasons. We can't really say. What we can say, though, is that it'll be really interesting to see how the showrunners go about handling this timeline shift and fit it into the main plotline. Good thing is that we've got the man behind the Chernobyl miniseries, Craig Mazin, and the TLOU's creative director Neil Druckmann at the helm. And with everyone that we've seen up till now, we're confident that they'll handle it just fine. And we might see the Left Behind DLC. If you're a fan of the video games, then you're probably aware of how important and meaningful the storyline in the Left Behind DLC expansion was. For those of you who don't know, don't worry, we got you. Basically, the storyline in the DLC is centered around Ellie's flashback, where we follow her and her friend Riley explore an abandoned mall, but their adventures are brought to a halt because of, you guessed it, a terrifying horde of zombies. Fans would be glad to find out that there is a chance that this DLC will get adapted in the show. Based on some photos and even videos that we saw from the set around January, we could see that filming was taking place inside a mall in Calgary, which we already know is an important location in the DLC. Besides that, we now know that Storm Reed has been cast as Riley in the show, which just further props up the idea that we'll get to see the flashback part of the story get adapted as well. As exciting as this is, nothing's been confirmed yet by the producers, so this is all just speculation. Now, some updates on the filming process. Since HBO announced the show back in 2020, we've all been on the edge of our seats waiting for it to finally come on air. Like most things though, the pandemic pretty majorly affected the filming of the show. Now though, thankfully, we know that filming has begun and is ongoing as we speak. However, there's still nothing definitive that can be said about how far the filming process of the show has come and when the show will come out. There were rumors about a release in late 2022, but that didn't turn out to be true. In an interview with Deadline HBO, and HBO Max's chief content officer Casey Bloys said that the show would likely come out in 2023. He did say that he saw some early episodes of the show and is very excited, praising Craig Mazin for his brilliant writing and directing. So it's probably safe to assume that production will end later this year or in the early parts of 2023 before going on air. We can't wait. That's a wrap for this video. So are you guys excited about The Last of Us TV series? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked what you saw, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe so you never miss a video. See you in the next one. Bye guys.